Life hits different when you know why you're here. Not just existing, not just getting by, but truly understanding what makes your heart beat faster, what makes your soul come alive. Right now, at this very moment, you're standing at the edge of something extraordinary. Your life, this precious gift you hold, it's waiting for you to breathe new purpose into it. Every single person here has something unique, something powerful stirring within them. That stirring, that's your why. It's the reason you get up in the morning. It's the force that keeps pushing you forward when everything else tells you to give up. And today, we're going to grab hold of it. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman I met last year. On paper, she had everything society said would make her happy: the six-figure job, the fancy car, the expensive apartment in the city. But every morning, she'd look in the mirror and see emptiness staring back. You know that feeling? When you're doing all the right things, but something still feels missing? One day, Sarah asked herself a simple question. If money wasn't an issue, what would I do with my time? The answer hit her like a lightning bolt. She remembered how she used to teach art to kids in her neighborhood, how their eyes would light up when they created something new. That was hers by bringing creativity into young lives. Today, she runs an art therapy program for at-risk youth, combining her business skills with her passion for art and teaching. This is what most people get wrong about finding their purpose. They think it's like searching for buried treasure, that it's hidden somewhere out there in the future. But your why isn't buried at all. It's right there in plain sight, in the moments that make you lose track of time, in the work that doesn't feel like work, in the causes that make your heart beat faster. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive? When did time seem to stand still because you were so engaged in what you were doing? That's not coincidence. That's your why calling out to you. Some of you might be thinking, but I've got bills to pay. I can't just follow my passion. I hear you. I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. What I am saying is that your why buy isn't limited to your career. It's about how you show up in every aspect of your life. Let me break it down for you. Your why's three key components. What you're good at, what the world needs, and what lights you up inside. When these three elements align, that's when magic happens. That's when you stop existing and start living. Now, you know what's fascinating? Research shows that people who have a strong sense of purpose live longer, healthier lives. They're more resilient in the face of challenges. They bounce back faster from setbacks. Why? Because when you know your why, obstacles become opportunities. I want you to do something right now. Close your eyes for a moment. Think about the compliments you receive most often. Not the superficial ones about your appearance or possessions, but the genuine observations about your character, your actions, your impact on others. Oh, those compliments, they're clues to your why. Maybe people always tell you you're a great listener. Perhaps they come to you for advice or say you have a way of making complex things simple. These aren't random coincidences. They're signposts pointing toward your purpose. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was a taxi driver I met, and at first glance, many would say it was just a job. But Marcus had found his why you. He saw himself as a guardian of safe travels and a creator of meaningful moments. He'd learn something new every day to share with his passengers. He kept a notebook of stories people shared with him. His purpose wasn't driving a taxi. It was connecting hearts and minds, one ride at a time. That's what happens when you find your why. Ordinary moments become extraordinary opportunities. The mundane becomes meaningful. You stop watching the clock and start making every minute count. Your why might be as grand as revolutionizing healthcare or as intimate as being the parent who breaks generational patterns. Both are equally valuable, equally powerful. The size of your purpose doesn't matter. What matters is that it resonates with your core. Finding yours why isn't a one-time event. It evolves as you grow. The purpose that drives you at 25 might shift by the time you're 40, and that's okay. What matters is staying connected to that inner compass, that gut feeling that tells you when you're on the right path. I've seen too many people wait for permission to pursue their purpose. They wait for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, the green light from others. But here's the thing. The only permission you need is your own. The perfect moment is now. Some of you might be thinking, I don't have anything special to offer. Stop right there. That thought, It's not yours. It's the voice of fear, of past disappointments, of other people's limitations. Your uniqueness isn't something you create. It's something you uncover. Think about water. When it's frozen, it looks solid, unchangeable. But apply a little heat and it flows, finds its own path, creates its own way. Your potential is like that water. Sometimes it gets frozen by fear, by doubt, by the weight of expectation. But with a little courage, a little faith in yourself, it starts to flow again. You want to know what holds most people back from finding their why? It's not lack of talent. It's not lack of opportunity. It's the fear of being wrong. But here's the beautiful truth. You can't get this wrong. Every step you take, every attempt you make, brings you closer to clarity. Let me tell you about James, a man in his 50s who came to one of my seminars. He'd spent 30 years building a successful construction business, but something was missing. During our work together, he remembered how he used to love teaching his younger siblings how to build things. Today, he still runs his business, but he also started a program teaching construction skills to homeless youth. Is his why? Using his knowledge to build not just buildings, but better futures. Your why doesn't require you to abandon your responsibilities. It asks you to infuse them with purpose. If you're a teacher, your why might be creating those aha moments that change students' lives. If you're in sales, maybe it's helping people find solutions that truly make their lives better. Look around you. Everything you see, every building, every business, every book, started with someone's why. Someone's burning desire to create change, to solve a problem, to make life better. That same power lives in you. Sometimes finding your purpose means letting go of who you think you should be to become who you truly are. It means peeling away layers of expectations, of shoulds and musts, until you reach that core of authenticity that's uniquely yours. Your why isn't just about you. It's about the ripple effect you create. When you live with purpose, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Your authenticity inspires others to be authentic. Think about the people who've impacted your life the most. Chances are they weren't trying to be influential. They were simply living their truth, following their why. That's the power of purpose. It naturally creates positive change in others. Let me tell you about Lisa. She worked in a corporate office, processing insurance claims, not exactly the kind of job most people dream about. But Lisa found her why in being the person who fought for patients, who made sure they got the coverage they deserved. She turned what could have been just paperwork into a mission of advocacy. Today, she trains other claims processors to see their work as a chance to make a difference in people's lives. Your circumstances don't define your purpose. I've seen people in prison find their why and transform their lives. I've witnessed people in their 70s discover new purpose and revolutionize their communities. It's never too late, and you're never too far off track. Let's talk about action. Knowledge without action is like a car without fuel. It might look good, but it won't take you anywhere. So here's what you're going to start small. Choose one area of your life where you can inject more purpose tomorrow. Maybe it's spending 15 minutes mentoring a colleague. Maybe it's writing one paragraph of that book you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's having a real conversation with your child instead of just talking about homework and chores. Don't wait for clarity before taking action. Clarity comes through action. It's like driving at night. Your headlights only show you the next 100 feet, but you can make the whole journey that way. Your eye becomes clearer with each step you take. Some of you might be wondering, how will I know when I found my why? You'll know because things will feel different. Not easier. Purpose-driven life isn't always easy, but clearer. Decisions become simpler because you have a North Star guiding. Pay attention to what makes you angry. What breaks your heart? Often, our deepest frustrations point to our purpose. If you can't stand seeing elderly people lonely, maybe your why involves creating community. If poor education makes your blood boil, maybe you're meant to be an agent of change in that system. Let me tell you about Rachel. She used to get furious every time she saw food being wasted at a restaurant job. Today, she runs a network connecting restaurants with homeless shelters, making sure good food feeds hungry people instead of filling landfills. Her anger became her compass, pointing her toward her purpose. Ours is in your values and what you stand for. When was the last time you stood up for something? When did you feel compelled to speak up, to take action, to make a difference? Those moments are golden clues to your purpose. I met Tom last year. He was working as a corporate accountant, and he was good at it. But what really lit him up was helping his colleagues understand their finances. He noticed how many people struggled with money management, how much stress it caused. Today, he still does accounting, but he also runs financial literacy workshops in high schools. His why is why? Empowering people to take control of their financial futures. Here's another truth. Why doesn't have to be completely original? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Maybe your purpose is taking something that already exists and doing it with more compassion, more efficiency, more creativity. That's equally valuable. Think about Maria. She works at a grocery store checkout, but she found her why in being the person who makes people feel seen and valued. She remembers her regulars' names, asks about their families, shares a kind word with those who look like they're having a rough day. She didn't create a new job. She transformed an existing one with purpose. I want you to understand something about fulfillment. It's not a destination. It's not something you achieve and then stop. It's a continuous journey of alignment between who you are and what you do. Every day presents new opportunities to strengthen that. Some days you'll feel it strongly, that sense of purpose, that certainty that you're on the right path. Other days it might feel faint, like a distant radio signal. That's normal. The key is to keep tuning in, keep adjusting your dial until the signal becomes clear again. Let me tell you about David. He struggled with depression for years, feeling like he had no purpose, but he noticed how walking his dog each day gave him a sense of peace. He started volunteering at an animal shelter just a few hours ago. Today, he runs a program bringing therapy dogs to mental health facilities. His own struggle became his strength. His pain became his purpose. You're always like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Start looking for ways to bring purpose into even the smallest actions. How can you make that meeting more meaningful? How can you turn that commute into an opportunity for growth? I met Sandra at a conference. She spent 20 years as a receptionist, feeling like her job wasn't important enough to be meaningful. Then she realized something. She was the first person most people encountered at her company. She could set the tone for their entire experience. She started seeing herself as a minister of first impressions, a creator of positive experiences. Her why? Making people feel welcome and valued from the very first moment. Finding and living your why requires courage. It means sometimes standing alone. It means facing uncertainty. But here's what I know for sure. The pain of unfulfillment is far greater than the discomfort of growth. Think about Michael. He was a successful lawyer, but he felt empty inside. What really made him come alive was mentoring young people. His colleagues thought he was crazy when he started spending his lunch breaks coaching high school mock trial teams. Today, he's still practicing law, but he's also created a program that introduces underprivileged youth to the legal profession. His wife opening doors for others that someone once opened for him. You might fail along the way. In fact, I hope you do, because failure means you're pushing boundaries, testing limits, growing. Every setback is feedback, showing you how to adjust your course while keeping your purpose intact. I remember meeting Karen, a woman who tried 3 different purpose-driven businesses before finding her stride. Each failure taught her something crucial about herself and her true why. Today, she runs a successful coaching program helping others navigate career transitions. Her previous attempts weren't failures. They were preparation. Think about the legacy you want to leave. Not just the material things, but the impact you want to have. How do you want people to feel because they crossed paths with you? What stories do you want them to tell about how you touched their lives? Let me tell you about Robert. He worked in building maintenance for 40 years. But ask anyone in his building about him, and they'll tell you he was much more than that. He knew everyone's name, remembered their birthdays, kept treats for their dogs. He saw his wife creating a sense of home, of belonging. When he retired, 300 people showed up to his party. That's legacy. Your why is the thread that weaves all these answers together. It's the force that turns ordinary moments into opportunities for extraordinary impact. It's what makes Monday mornings exciting and Sunday nights peaceful. Consider a school bus driver. She could have seen her job as just driving from point A to point B. Instead, she saw her whys as being the person who could start and end each child's school day with kindness. She learned about their interests, celebrated their achievements, noticed when they were down. Years later, her former passengers still remember how she made them feel valued and safe. The world needs your why. It needs your unique perspective, your particular blend of talents and experiences. There are problems only you can solve, lives only you can touch, changes only you can make. I met John, a former addict who now works as a counselor. His past, the very thing he once felt ashamed of, became his greatest asset in helping others find their way to recovery. His why, using his story to show others that change is right now. Someone out there needs what only you can give. They need your courage to show them what's possible. They need your story to give them hope. They need your example to light their way. Think about Helen. She was a quiet accountant who discovered her why in teaching financial literacy to domestic violence survivors. Her knowledge, combined with her patient, gentle approach, helps women build the financial confidence they need to start new lives. She never speaks on stages or writes books, but her impact is profound. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't wait until you have it all figured out. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. Your why will unfold as you move forward. Consider Mark, who started by simply offering free computer help to seniors at his local library. That small act of service grew into a countywide program teaching digital literacy to older adults. He didn't have a grand plan when he started. He just took the first step. And remember this. You're not just creating a life of meaning and fulfillment for yourself. You're creating a ripple effect that touches countless others. Every time you honor your purpose, you give others permission to honor theirs. For years, she worked as a bank teller, feeling like she was just processing transactions. Then she noticed how many elderly customers struggled with online banking. She started coming in early to offer one-on-one tutorials. Her manager noticed, and today, she runs the bank's senior financial education program. Her wife found her when she simply paid attention to where she could help. You know what stops most people? They're waiting for certainty. They want to guarantee that their purpose will work out, that they won't face challenges, that they won't make mistakes. But here's the certainty. You need is the certainty that you're meant for more than just going through the motions. I met Carlos last month. He worked in a warehouse for 15 years, feeling stuck and purposeless. But he noticed how many of his younger coworkers struggled with financial decisions. He started sharing what he'd learned about saving and investing during lunch breaks. Now he runs financial workshops for blue-collar workers, teaching them how to build wealth on an hourly wage. His why was hidden in plain sight. Your purpose often lives in the intersection of what breaks your heart and what you know how to fix. Think about that. What problems do you notice that others seem to overlook? What solutions come naturally to you that others find challenging? Your struggles, your challenges, your pain points. They're not obstacles to your purpose. They're often the very things that qualify you to serve others. They're your credentials in the University of Life. Consider Jennifer. She struggled with anxiety for years, feeling like it was her greatest weakness. Today, she runs support groups for anxious teens, using her experience to help them develop coping strategies. Her challenge became her calling. Some of you are thinking small because you're afraid of disappointing others or yourself. But playing small doesn't serve anyone. Your why needs room to grow, to expand, to touch more lives. It needs you to believe in its potential. I remember meeting Steve, a middle school janitor. He noticed how many kids seemed lost, invisible. He started learning their names, asking about their interests, celebrating their small victories. The principal noticed how kids would light up around it. Today, he also runs the school's mentoring program. His why, making sure no child feels unseen. Your purpose doesn't need to be loud or flashy. Sometimes, the quietest purposes create the deepest impact. It's not about the size of your stage, it's about the size of your impact on the lives you touch. Think about this. Every major movement, every significant change, every lasting impact started with one person saying yes to their why. One person deciding that the status quo wasn't good enough. One person choosing to make a difference. Let me tell you about Maya. She was a receptionist at a nursing home, watching residents sit alone day after day. She started bringing in old photographs, asking them to share their stories. Today, she runs a program that connects seniors with local students, creating an oral history project that bridges generations. Her why: ensuring that every life story gets heard. Your why might seem ordinary to you because you live with it every day. But to someone else, it's extraordinary. To someone else, it's exactly what they need. To someone else, it's the answer they've been praying for. I met Louis, a construction worker who felt his job had no deeper meaning. Then he realized how many young people in his neighborhood lacked male role models and practical skills. He started teaching basic home repair workshops on weekends. Now he runs a youth program that teaches trade skills and life lessons. His everyday knowledge became his extraordinary purpose. That you're something crucial. Your why isn't just about what you do. It's about who you become in the process. It's about growing into the person who can fulfill that purpose. Every challenge you face is shaping you, preparing you, qualifying you. Consider Emma. She was a shy bookkeeper who discovered her purpose in teaching financial literacy to immigrants. Each workshop forced her to step out of her comfort zone, to grow, to become more. Today, she's a confident speaker who has helped hundreds of families build better futures. Some of you have been waiting for the perfect moment to start living your why. But perfect moments don't arrive. They're created. They're created by people who decide that now is better than ever, that something is better than nothing, that starting is better than waiting. You're always like a seed. It needs attention, nurturing, and time to grow. Some days you might not see progress, but beneath the surface, roots are growing stronger. Every small action, every tiny step, every minor decision aligned with your purpose helps that seed grow. Think about the cost of not living your why. Think about the regret of looking back and wondering what if. Think about the lives that won't be touched, the changes that won't happen, the impact that won't be made if you don't step up. Let me share one last story. I met Grace, an elderly woman who found her why at 78. She started teaching other seniors how to use smartphones to connect with their grandchildren. Age didn't matter. Timing didn't matter. All that mattered was that she heard the call and answered it. The time is now. The person is you. The purpose is waiting. Take that first step. Make that first move. Say that first yes. Your why is calling. Answer it. Because when you find your why, and when you start living it every day, even in small ways, something magical happens. Life stops being something that happens to you and becomes something that happens through you. You become a force for good, a catalyst for change, a bearer of light. Your why is not just a destination. It's a journey. It's not just a goal. It's a way of living. It's not just about what you achieve. It's about who you become. And who you become will inspire others to find and live their why. Stand up, step forward, claim your purpose. The world is waiting for your why, because when you live your why, you don't just change your life, you change the world. Every moment is a chance to align with your purpose. Every interaction is an opportunity to live your why. Every day is a new beginning to create the impact only you can make. The choice is yours. The time is now. The world needs your why.